So in the previous session, we have discussed about client-side controller and how can we use this client-side controller and how can we perform the required operations we have discussed in the previous session. Now let me show you one more small use case. Let's see how can we implement. Now, I want to take a small use case now. So now my requirement is I want to build a small calculator to calculate the simple interest. In order to calculate the simple interest, I would like to use a small calculator. So here, I would like to place few text boxes and the buttons. Like, I want to place a text box to enter the principal amount. Second one, to enter the rate of interest. Third one, I would like to represent the tenure. And then I would like to have one more text box to represent the interest amount. Here I'm placing a button control. So totally I want to place a 4 text boxes on this component and one button component. Four text boxes and one button component. So I will enter some values inside this. Like I'm giving the value principal amount as some 5 lakhs. Rate of interest will be 2 rupees. And the tenure will be some 36 months. And then once I click on this calculate button, it should calculate the interest amount here. How it will be calculating this value based on a formula. So in order to calculate the simple interest, we have a formula that is called as PTR by 100. We have a formula called as PTR by 100. So this is a formula which we need to use in order to do the calculation of simple interest. So based on this formula, it has to do the calculation. The result should be visible inside my text box. So I want to pass some input values. These three will be input. This will be output. These are input. This is output. So in this case here, I want to implement a small collecting component. How can we do this kind of calculations? We'll see with practical. Let's see how can we design this component and how can we build this client-side controller. We'll see with practical. Now, let me design this letting component and then we'll see how can we build the business logic. Now this time, let me go with Visual Studio Code Editor. But in order to run that compulsorily, we require this. Now, let's see. I'm using VS Code Editor also. Let me start this VS Code Editor. It will take some time to load this completely. Immediately, don't try to use those commands. Start the Visual Studio Code Editor. Wait for 5 minutes minimum or 2 minutes. Because it has to load the supporting components internally, it will take some time. In this meantime, let me log into my Salesforce org. Now, let me create a new Lightning component now. Use that command palette, Control Shift P. I want to create an ARA component. SFDX, create ARA component. Now it will ask you to specify the component name. I'm giving this name as LC underscore interest calculator component. ELC underscore interest calculator component. Now select the default folder. I want to store that component inside this folder. For SAP, under that main folder, inside that we have default folder in that ARA. All the ARA components and the applications will get resides inside this folder. Press enter. Now it has created a component. So whatever the name that we have given for this component, with the same name, it will create a folder. See. In this folder, you will be having all these files. 8 files will be available over here. Now, let's design the component now. I would like to design the component here. I'm using this div tag. I want to use the text boxes. Lightning input. Lightning input. I'm giving the label as enter principal amount and the placeholder equals to principal amount. Now I'm indicating type equals to number, required equals to true. I'm making this field required. Compulsorily, we have to enter this. Second one, lightning input, label equals to enter interest rate, placeholder equals to interest rate, type equals to number, required equals to true. This is also required. Lightning input, label equals to enter tenure, placeholder equals to tenure, type equals to number, required equals to true. Now for each and every component, I'm giving the name as here I'm indicating ARA ID. ARA ID. Now this is some P amount. I'm giving this ARA ID as principal amount because to get the value from this text box, ARA ID equals to, I'm giving this property value here. Now rate. ARA ID equals to 10. These are the names. To show that, okay, to show the interest amount value, we are using one more text box. Lighting input label equals to interest amount is type equals to number, and then ARA ID. Now interest amount, I'm indicating interest, and then I'm giving a break tag. I would like to use a paragraph. I want to place a button that should be in the center point over here. Align equals to center. I'm placing the button control. Lightning button, I would like to specify label equals to calculate interest. Variant equals to brand outline. Brand outline. Now, this is the component over here. Just you can save this component and then push this code into your Salesforce Arc. So now in order to push that code, we can able to use that command. Right click on this and then click on deploy the source to Arc. It will be deploying this source to your Salesforce Arc. The code will be moving to Salesforce Arc. Now I want to apply the style also for this. Go to the CSS file. I'm applying the style. So yesterday's style I would like to apply. Similar fashion. Yesterday we have prepared the style, right? Similar kind of style I want to apply here also. Instead of having 500 pixels, I would like to go with 400 pixels. Left margin, margin top, and all these things will be correct. Now, let me save this file. I'm pushing this code. I want to apply this style for my component. Now I want to utilize class property equals to the style name. Now, as of now, I'm done with my designing part over here. As of now, I'm done with my designing part. Now I would like to check this one whether this component is looking like perfectly or not. So what is my component name? LC underscore interest calculator component. Go to your Salesforce Arc. Here I'm indicating interest calculator component. Click on preview. Now let's see if the designing is looking like good or not. If yes, then we can go ahead with that building the business logic. I want to move it to the right side a bit. So I would like to apply that style. Instead of 300 left, I would like to give 400 pixel. And then I want to apply this style as for this variant. I would want to use that brand style. For the button control, I would like to apply brand appearance. Let's refresh this screen. Now that's it. So now principal amount, rate of interest, tenure, and the interest amount. And then we are having the button, okay, calculate interest button. Now I would like to enter some value. I would like to enter this rate of interest and then tenure also. These three should be mandatory. Without these three, we can't do this calculation because it's a formula. It's a formula. The formula requires these three values compulsorily here. Now, so in this case, let's see. Now, I want to implement this feature here. Let's see how can we implement. Go back to your VS Code and then go to that controller file. Okay, interest calculator component controller. Here we can able to write the business logic. Now, as soon as once I click on this button control, I would like to call a method. On click. On click, I would like to call a method c dot, give the method name. Now, calculate interest amount. I'm preparing a method with the name, that means JavaScript function with the name calculate interest amount. Now let's go to that controller file, prepare the method calculate interest amount. It is having these three parameters: component, event, and the handler. Now I would like to collect the value from the text boxes. So I'm using this where principal amount equals to component dot find. What is the component name over here? We have given ARA ID. What is that? P amount. P amount dot get of V dot value. So go to this current component, lighting component, and then in this component, find for a component which is having that ARA ID P amount, and in that particular text box, whatever the value we have entered, get that value. Like the similar way, where time period equals to component dot find time period. That means tenure dot get V dot value. Third one, where interest rate. Now we can specify component dot find. So what is that? Unique ID rate dot get V dot value. So we are collecting these three values here. Principal amount also we have collected. Time period also we have collected. Interest rate also we have collected. Now I would like to represent this. Now I would like to do that. Where interest amount. So what is the component name here? Here we need to give the component name also. Now interest amount equals to, I'm using principal amount into time period into interest rate whole divided by 100. Now we are representing this value over here. Now I would like to show this. This value I would like to set so that we can specify component dot find. We can search for the component here. What is the component name here? interest. Dot set v dot value. Which value would like to set? Interest amount. This value I would like to represent. If you want to place one more text box here, then you can place. Okay, total outstanding. Now total amount. Total outstanding is, I would like to represent total amount. I want to set the value. How can we specify this value here? Now let's see. In that case, I would like to collect the principal amount plus and then interest amount both. I would like to specify where total outstanding. Total outstanding equals to principal amount plus and then interest amount. But in this case here, it will be treating this value will be of type, okay, string, right? We need to do that type conversion also. We'll see. Component dot find. I'm indicating total amount dot set v dot value. I would like to pass that value total outstanding. That's it. There is a functionality. As soon as once you click on the button control, I would like to call this a function over here. Now in this function, we have written the piece of code to collect all the three input values. Principal amount also, time period also, rate of interest also. All the three values we have collected here. Then we are calculating the interest amount and then we are representing the total outstanding amount value also. Let's see. Let me save this component also. Now let's refresh. Observe what will happen in this case. Yesterday also we have observed. Now total outstanding. Principal amount I'm giving some 5 lakhs. Interest rate we are indicating some 2 rupees interest. Tenure some 36 months. When I click on this calculate interest, it will be indicating this. Interest amount value will be okay 3 lakhs, okay, 60,000 rupees over here. So which will be doing the calculation automatically, because 5 lakhs means what? Every month they have to pay how much interest over here based on 2 rupees interest. Now based on 2 rupees interest. So for 5 lakhs they have to pay 36,000. Sorry, 3,600. Now, so now here in this case, let's see. So it will be okay for 1 lakh 1 rupee means okay 1,000. 5 lakhs, right? It will be 1,000. Now 10,000 we need to pay per month here interest. This is a 5 lakh rupees. Now this will be 2 rupees of interest. So it will be 10,000 rupees we have to pay. Total 36 months over here. So now 3 lakhs 36,000 we need to pay the interest amount. And then this is the interest calculation up to this part. But here outstanding amount, how it is representing, it is showing like as concatenation, because here we need to okay do the parsing type conversion. How to do the type conversion? We know yesterday we did that here. In this case, we can specify the method parsing. Parsing of principal amount, parsing of interest amount also. Both we need to do. We are using this parsing. For multiplication, we no need to. But whenever we are using plus symbol, it will do the concatenation automatically by default here. It will treat that value as okay string type. That's what it is doing this concatenation automatically by default. Now, So let's refresh this. Now I would like to apply the principal amount as, which is some 4 lakhs. Interest rate 2 rupees, 10 years some 48 months. Click on okay, calculate interest. Now we are able to see that interest amount will be 3 lakhs 84,000 rupees, and then total outstanding will be 3 lakhs 84,000 plus 4 lakhs rupees actual amount. Total 7 lakhs 84,000. But these two values are editable. If you want to make it okay disabled, then we can do that. Let me indicate this. Both the text boxes. I would like to indicate disabled property. Disabled equals to true. Disabled equals to true. Then these two values the user can't editable. Let me check. Refresh the screen. Now we are giving this value principal amount some 5 lakhs, interest amount 2 rupees, tenure will be some 36 months. When I click on calculate interest, then the value will be visible, but the user can't change this value. So depends upon the requirement. These are input type. These are also will be visible here, but these are for output purpose. So the user can't modify this interest amount value. So based on that calculation, it will represent. Now, so now this is the values over here. We have entered the principal amount, interest rate, tenure, and then we are going to be getting this value, interest amount value also. Now, let me place this code inside our document. Design a lighting component to implement simple interest calculator. Component code, style, controller application. Now, this is how we can able to implement client-side business logics as part of your Lightning framework. But as of now, what we did, we have invoked this business logics upon click on the button clicks. Based on some button clicks, we are going to be invoking this business logic. Then how to invoke the business logic whenever the component is getting loaded. Upon loading the component, how can we invoke this business logic? We'll see in next session. And then tomorrow we don't have the session because of that elections tomorrow. And then we'll be having next session on okay Tuesday as usual at normal timings. 9 o'clock we'll be having the session on Tuesday again. Tuesday also in our online session. From Wednesday onwards, we'll be having classroom sessions are also available. So just so that you can attend the session from classroom as well. Now, thank you. Thanks for your time. But do the practice on these features so that you can feel comfortable with the client-side controller implementation.